Hey, good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? I hope that you are well and blessed and highly favored of God. I came on here to give you a quick update about in-person gathering tomorrow and online gathering, and I just need you to pay attention because there's a major change. All right, we will not be gathering in person tomorrow, and we're only gathering online for tomorrow's service. And let me just wait for a few more people to come, and I'll tell you why. And when I'm done giving the update, I want to give you my 2 cents on something that I've had several conversations about. I'm trying to get this thing here. I'm like, what? Um, Conversations about this afternoon. But so tomorrow we are not gathering in person for the main reason that I have not been feeling well for the last 3 4 days. Started Wednesday night and into so I haven't been really feeling well, and so Thursday I was forced to go into the ER to go and get checked out, and they couldn't find, of course, anything obvious. But one of the major reasons I decided to go to the ER, of course, was to take the COVID-19 test. I took the test. I'm still waiting for the results, and as because of that, I would like to be away from people. I'm self quarantined. But the thing is that it's an overabundance of caution. I can tell you that I'm feeling much better. Today, I literally lay in bed. Was having phone conversations with people whilst I was in bed, and so I really needed the rest, I guess, and I'm feeling much better this afternoon. Praise God. Thank you for everybody who's been praying. Really felt your prayers. My spirits have been up, and um, it's just one of those things where your body takes a knock and you're like, oh, what's happening? So, but in order to just cross our T's, dot our I's, we went through the COVID testing. If and when it comes back negative, because I'm just declaring I don't have it, the next thing will be for me to guess to get checked out for Lyme's disease, because of, I guess, maybe I got bit by a tick. But I was advised that to still see my personal physician if my tests come back negative for COVID. So because of that, and out of an overabundance of caution, we are not in the business of um, you know picking up physical snakes and petting them and all that kind of stuff, daring fate. We are honestly people that just believe. Some people are commenting. Oh, hold on, guys, my comments. Yeah, so some people. Beth says, Beth, you correct, Greg. Beth says, yeah, you look skinny. Eat a big burger. Thank you, Margarita. Margarita says, get better. So, Margarita, I'm getting better. I'm feeling much better. Today, I think the only thing I've dealt with is just general weakness. But my fever broke yesterday morning, I want to say. And so I've been fever free. Though my wife says that I should have taken my temperature this morning because I was feeling a little bit funny, but I'm like, no, I'm fever free. Yeah. All right. So I thank God for just feeling much, much better. So thank you for everybody who's been praying. Thank you for everybody who's kept my spirits up, checking on me, etc. So because of that, we're not meeting in person, but we'll be here live online. It's going to take a little bit of a different format, but we basically going back to our online format that we had before we opened a couple of weeks ago. So we're going to have that. Our worship team, of course, will not be live, but we are going to have some pre-recorded music from them that we're going to share with you guys, and then I'll be live with the Word of God and just teach from that perspective. All right, so that is the quick update about church tomorrow. I know. Yeah, thank you. Beth says, I love you. I feel better. Yes, I know you do, D. I love you too. Um, yeah, so, but guys, I'm feeling much better today. Like I said in the morning, it was just general weakness, but I've this afternoon, I think even my wife can see it. I'm back to myself. Thank God I am. So I wanted to leave you with this tonight. I don't know how many of you follow celebrities and celebrity gossip. Um, I wanted to, because something funny happened yesterday. Not funny, I shouldn't say something funny, but I think the conversation around it is funny. So apparently, if you don't mind, come closer, come closer. If you don't mind, so and there's a lesson here, okay, for us as followers of Jesus. So follow me. I'm going to talk a little bit about Will and Jada. Okay, so yesterday, Will and Jada had their red table come to Jesus, come to each other moment, where Jada confessed, not confessed, actually brought it to the public and confirmed the rumor that she had seen someone while her and Will were on separation 4.5 years ago. And by the way, if you haven't seen it, just go on Facebook, search for Red Table Talk. I watch a few of I love that show because I think it's one of those spaces that Jada has created that allows for genuine conversation to happen, and I just love it. Okay, so anyway, so Will interviews Jada and helps Jada tell the world that she actually saw this young man when they were separated and had this relationship. But here's what I wanted to say to you. One of the things that people are getting hung up on, which is a very, very big window into our own self righteousness, so to speak. People are getting hung up on the fact that she had, quote unquote, an affair. They've worked it out. It happened 4.5 years ago, and they're still married. And apparently, they should have divorced. He should have dumped her. He should have, etc., etc. Here's what my major concern is, especially as we Christians talk about this, right? One of the things that needs to happen in our society is for us to have grace for each other. Jesus said, one of the conclusions to one of the parables that he gave concerning a servant whose debt had been forgiven and who refused to forgive others. Jesus made this conclusion. He said that those who have been forgiven much. Florence is calling me. Florence, I'll give you a call back soon. Those who have been forgiven much love much. So basically what Jesus was saying was that when a person has been forgiven of a lot, they tend to love the person who has forgiven them much. And here's the thing. Each one of us has been forgiven by God for so many, many things. My wife and I just were having a conversation just about some of the things that I've personally struggled with, like in the past. And I'm like, I can't look at anybody who struggles with anything the same way because I know the grace God has extended to me. I think that we often forget how gracious God is to us. And because we forget, we become judgmental of other people. Okay? When you know what God has forgiven you of, and He still calls you His son, and He still calls you His daughter, and He still calls you, He still says, I love you, and there is nothing in this world that you can ever do that can push me away from you. You are the one who has to get yourself out of the grip of my love. When you begin to know God as Father in the real sense, you begin to have grace for other people. Because that whole situation that has happened with these celebrities, I would tell you from experience as a pastor that it is way too common among Christians. Okay? And the only thing is that, and we Christians have to become better at this. And I've been thinking that my wife and I need to bring some of our conversations online in terms of just our thoughts around issues, because we need a space as believers, as followers of Jesus, just to be real. For crying out loud, be real, right? Take off your mask, take off your mascara, and just be without makeup so that we can see the real you. In a very, maybe not in a literal sense if you don't want to, but I mean in a figurative sense, take off the mask and just be yourself. We're all jacked up. We're all a work in progress. It's okay to not be okay. It's just not okay for you to remain the same, right? And people remain the same because Christians are so judgmental, right? I've been there. And truth be told, there's certain things I'm judgmental about. Maybe because I haven't experienced it or experienced something or have had the same life experiences as another person. So I become judgmental in certain aspects. But my whole thing is this: how are people supposed to come to Jesus when you're coming to a community that doesn't give you grace, right? That doesn't see you as a person before they see your mistakes, and so for me, I found the conversation that Will and Jada were having actually enlightening and encouraging, because that kind of honesty is what is needed in the world. It's what we have too many Christians going around and looking like their whole lives are pretty and perfect, but deep inside and behind the scenes, they're jacked up. But the thing is that they're crying out for help and they can't come to the church because they're afraid that such and such a person or their pastor from the church is going to look at them different. I remember a time I was back home on a visit, and I went to a friend of mine invited me for dinner. And when I got to the restaurant, they had already started eating and they had ordered drinks, alcohol, and they were drinking. And so they knew that I don't drink. They knew that I have a very strong um, religious stance when it comes to drinking. And my whole thing is, and I don't judge people who drink. All right? Okay, that is not just my thing. I'm willing to have a conversation about why I don't do that and my view on alcohol and Christians, etc., etc. But my whole thing was, when I sat down, my friend felt like he needed to apologize to me. He says, Campbell, I know you don't drink. I know what your views are, but just forgive. I said, dude, what you do is really between you and God. The Apostle Paul said, everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. So it is permissible for you to drink. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is benefiting you at the end of the day, right? The Bible also tells us don't get drunk with wine, that leads to debauchery, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to get into that right now. But anyway, long story short, my relationship with my friends changed for the better. And here's why. And he said it. Campbell, and I think he said it to somebody. I couldn't believe that Campbell did not judge me, because he already lives in a culture where Christians will judge him for doing that, okay, as a Christian. And so for him, he had a newfound respect for me. But to be honest, I wasn't even doing it for me to gain respect for him. I was doing it because I don't want to condemn him. And your point is, like, what is my condemnation going to do for you? Everybody loves John 3:16, but everybody forgets John 3:17. Okay, so John 3:16 says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. John 3:17 says this. Jesus continues to say, for God did not send the son into the world to condemn the world, but to save the world through him. So Jesus said, I did not come to condemn the world. I did not come to call out the prostitutes on their sins and all these other people that are outside of the religious order on their sin. I'll call out the Pharisees. But it's not my business for me to condemn the world. I came to save them. And I think that if we as the church became more, there's a difference between accommodating and accepting, I think. And accepting in terms of, actually not word accepting. Let me say accommodating and welcoming, right? They're two different things. When you welcome somebody into your circle, you are saying, come as you are, and I will walk with you from wherever you are, and I'll lead you to the place of health. That is welcoming. Accepting is kind of just, willy-nilly, you can live your life, whatever. I'm not going to challenge anything in your life, and therefore it's going to be, you do you. I don't think that that's what God is calling us to do. I think God challenges us on a daily basis, and he challenges us to grow. And because we need to grow, change comes with growth. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is, if we become more welcoming as Christians and not so quick to judge, I think we're going to see a whole lot more people be wanting to be part of the Christian movement. Other than that, if what we learned, their whole discussion, and if you haven't seen it, go and see it. For me, it was just beautiful. I'm like, good to see some people be real about this, the pain that they went through, the work that they're doing, the therapy that they have done and continue to do, and the fact that they're still married and they have chosen not to be part of the statistic. To me, I'm rooting for their marriage to last forever, right? That is just me. You can decide whatever. But anyway, so be before you judge somebody, ask yourself, what has God forgiven me of? And is God still condemning me for the things I have done in the past? Because when you use that as the test, the litmus test for whether you should judge somebody or not, you're always going to find 100% of the time that God will give you more grace, and you are going to respond with more grace toward people. All right. So I just wanted to chime because I've had several conversations. One was a heated conversation, I guess an agree to disagree kind of conversation. The other one was a funny conversation around this. And for example, one of my friends said, oh, what did he say? He said uh, he didn't like the example that they were giving about marriage, Will and Jada. I'm like, I'm not holding. If they were Christians, yeah, I would say I don't like the example. But I don't know for the life of me if they follow Jesus, right? So I'm not going to hold them to the standard of a biblical marriage because I'm just not. The Apostle Paul said in First Corinthians, he said, I think it's First or Second Corinthians, he said, it's not my business to judge those that are outsiders. It is my business to judge those that are part of the household of God, right? So it's not my business. If they're outside of the household of God, I'm not going to hold them to a godly standard of marriage. That is their business. I would like them to adopt. And by the way, there are a lot of non-Christians that have great marriages, healthy, great, dare I say, godly marriages. The only missing link is God in that marriage. And I'm telling you, I have seen it, and you can learn a ton from people that are not followers of Jesus but have healthy and great marriages. The misconception that people who don't follow Jesus are unhappy is a myth. They might be empty, but they're not unhappy. Okay, there's a difference. There's this feeling of a void, like you're missing something and you want to live life to the fullest. Jesus feels that emptiness. Now, you can be empty and unhappy, but I've met a lot of empty people that are happy. Just a fact of life. All right. So that is kind of my view when it comes to Will and Jada. And if you haven't seen the interview, go see it. Don't listen to gossip. Go hear it from the horse's mouth. You will walk away from that feeling like that was like two adults talking that have been through something, and they're gonna be all right. They're gonna be okay. Right. Let me know what you think, you guys. Otherwise, I'll see you right back here. So let me see. Some people sometimes comment on my personal thingy and I forget to check. All right. Let's see. We got. Oh, geez. I always do this, guys. I'm so sorry. All right. So that is my 2 cents. I'll see you tomorrow right here online again. We're not meeting in person. I've not been feeling well. I've taken the COVID test. I think it's negative. But until I have those results, I have to stay away from people. And my family, by proxy, also has to stay away from people. So we're not gathering in person. Thank you, everybody, for who's been praying for me. Feeling much better tonight, this evening. And so we'll see you back here tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. for Kingdom Life Church online experience, and I'm looking forward to that. God bless you guys. Have a great night, and remember that Jesus is Lord, and that you should treat people with the same amount of grace or the same courtesy of grace that you have received from God before you judge them. God bless you. I love you. Shalom, and see you. Bye-bye.